Good evening. Class is in session. Writing class number 2, Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. And as always, when we last left off, we got 2 pages done of our AracKnight script. Page 1, we came over the cityscape, wintertime, steampunk Empire City. The Parker parents, Richard and Mary, are working on the super soldier serum. Several specimens in their lab. Uncle Ben is the one who kind of babysits Peter ever since Aunt May passed. Former Army pilot. He's going to be the Alfred to our Peter Parker, our Batman Spider Man Peter Parker. And as for page 2, we have to get him bit by the spider. We move in quick. Uncle Ben is bringing food to Richard and Mary to tell them to take a little break. They talk about all the specimens that have rejected the serum. Some have died, some have just gotten lazy or fatigued. But a spider has taken to it, of course. The spider escapes and bites young Peter right on the heart. He passes out right in front of his parents. Bunch of flying noodles, chopsticks, panic, syringes. And that is where we got with page 1 and 2. Today's class, pages 3 and 4. We got to kill Peter's parents. Let's connect the chameleon, who's going to be our first villain. Not sure if it'll be our only villain, but we know it'll be our first villain. So the idea is 6 panels a page. Sometimes go a little bit over it, a little bit under, depending on the splash action or the importance of the panel. And then, of course, okay, page 3 and 4, gotta kill Peter's parents. We gotta connect the chameleon. Maybe we have another villain. We want to do some James Bond shit, some Batman shit, some Spider-Man shit. And essentially, what we do is we read a comic book, and through ideas from our outside brain and what we derive from the comic book, we create a page. So we read a comic book, write a page. Read a comic book, write a page. So for today's class, we're gonna read 2 comic books and write 2 pages. God forbid we don't get what we want from the comic book. We'll introduce a 3rd comic book. We'll get a little crazy. So we're gonna go blow through Amazing Spider-Man number 2, Spider-Man versus the Vulture, Spider-Man versus the Tinkerer, and the idea is to use these next 24 to 36 pages, whatever they used to make these comic books back in the 60s, to inspire page 3. Doing our thing here. Spider-Man duel to the death, most colorful Spider-Man hero of all time. Underneath the world tremble, but there is not one who does not tremble. The fabulous power of the Vulture. Spider-Man versus the Vulture. All right, we got the guy. Well, you know what it is? In class 1, I think I read too much. So let's just kind of blow through it a little faster. But sometimes it's nice to read it, you know what I mean? It takes you back, it's fun. For days, a new and ominous, dangerous mess, the vast city of New York, no man knows where he'll strike next. No one can cope with this large, new, awesome threat. Without warning, he strikes the slightest sounds. Okay, so the Vulture is jacking motherfuckers. Stole my briefcase worth a fortune in bonds. Now, I don't think we'll be using the Vulture for this particular comic book. You could throw in, like I said, we threw a little baby Vulture into the specimens from Richard and Mary Parker. So the idea is, okay, he's flying, he's more of a gigantic bird of prey than a human. You have the old cheesy dialogue. Now, I like the idea of using Now Magazine, not the Daily Bugle, as Peter Parker's alter ego. We're gonna make him kind of like a cool lifestyle photographer. Of course, he'll sell photography, but I wanted more of a manly Bruce Wayne, James Bond element to Peter Parker. So the idea would be that he does have like a cool alter ego as a photographer from Now Magazine, which I feel like would be more cool, more hip for the particular character we want to make as opposed to a newspaper photographer. Newspapers, I don't know. Kind of lame now. Yeah, I don't remember if you were like little kids and they used to make us bring like the New York Times. They try to get us to buy newspapers in school. And then just being fucking filler. You can make buildings out of all the fucking newspapers that we've all thrown out. They're all sitting in libraries and shit like that. So, of course, J. Jonah Jameson wants to devote the entire issue of Now Magazine to the Vulture. He's big news. Also, keep printing stories about Spider Man. Nobody get a photography of him. Get me pictures of the vultures, or I'll get some new editors. So, of course, Peter hears in Now Magazine that they're offering a fortune if anybody can get close to snap a picture. I never thought of it before. Magazines pay big money for hard to get photos. I know how to get them. Here you go, bookworm. Take a look at what's going on in the outside world. You can't read them, but scientific formulas. Peter and Flash do not get along. Now remember, we're trying to use this particular issue to inspire us to write the next 2 pages. Now the story is kind of maybe against, because again, in the 60s, every issue of Amazing Spider-Man was about just kind of one-offs. Throw the villain out there, Spider-Man and them have a quick fight. It's like wrestling. They have a quick match. They go around the circuit. You bring them back. We're going for that more James Bond villain of the movie, villain of the graphic novel. I always said if you took the attention span today and made the instead of having 900 Batman titles at DC Comics, I always thought it'd be cooler if you had like just one Batman magazine with multiple stories at the Batman universe. This way, instead of pressuring the living shit out of your art team to keep churning out fucking pages and putting filler in the comic books, you'd have one more interesting magazine as opposed to walking into a comic book store and just panicking when you look at the fucking shelves and there's 9,000 Batman titles. Anyway, what I'm getting here with the kids and the high school and everything, what I'm playing around with here, we said it's holiday time in our script. Peter just got bitten by the spider. He passed out. Now we can flash forward and have some other shit going on in Peter's life. And he's flashing back to that. We can go in and out of this story. We just go linear. Peter could wake up in bed. He's having dreams, whatever. Or if we wanted to jump ahead and do some like Batman Begins shit, those first two pages could be the flashback. And then at page 3, we can catch up on the flash forward. But where is he? You know? I was tinkering again with Chameleon being our main villain, just literally a thug. Spectre, the Sinister Six, which we don't see on screen, we just kind of maybe hear from them. Maybe the Chameleon talks about him. Maybe he's trying to get into the Sinister Academy. You don't call it the Sinister fucking Six, call it the Sinister fucking Syndicate, or just the fucking octopus fucking thing. Chameleon is a thug, is a terrorist hired by the Sinister Six to ransom Empire City. We have the bulk of our plot here, and Peter Parker, who becomes the fucking AracKnight here, the Spider-Man, is going to foil this terrorist plot, but essentially also, in a way, take the blame for it, make it a bittersweet ending. We know how this fucking story is going to end, which is going to be 100 pages away, or 96 pages and 4 covers, if we're being technical. So, motherfuckers, we got to kill the parents in page 3 and 4. And then I think he wakes from the nightmare after the parents are gone, because I'm thinking if you're flashing back and forward too much, it may get a little annoying. So within pages 3 and 4, these parents are going down. So do we want a scene of Peter in bed waking up from a fever and his mom and dad over him? Yeah, maybe we should do some Batman Begins shit. 'Cause remember, like Batman Begins, we had the father sitting over the kid. Why were they afraid of you? The spider. So I'm thinking pages from the page 3, wakes up in bed, quick little heart to heart with mom and dad. And again, we said winter time. I like the idea of making it holiday time, make it more impactful, more dramatic for Peter to lose his parents at a holiday time. Pages 3 and 4, here we got to get rid of the parents. All right, so like ice skating, Rockefeller Center. You think something cool like that. We have to get from 3 and 4 here. From Peter waking up after he got bit by that fucking spider and passed out at the end of page 2. It's 3 and 4 here. He's got to wake up from his little fever, have a quick heart to heart with mom and dad real quick. They take him ice skating. What I'm thinking is while he's ice skating, his spider senses, his agility starts to kind of maybe get a little out of whack. And maybe he crashes into a bunch of people or he crashes into a fucking ice cream truck or some shit and he's embarrassed and his parents are taking him out of there. And as they're taking him out of there through an alley, a thug, aka the chameleon, could be connected to Richard and Mary, could be looking to steal their formula, could be a spy. This could be him as a young spy, and Peter and him will loop back into each other where Peter will get revenge for the murder of his parents in this story, and as well as saving the city. He saves the city, he avenges his parents. So we want to connect that. Connect that. So the chameleon's going to kill Peter Parker's parents. A earlier version of the chameleon, a more rundown version, but sickly, like General Grievous. So we like that. Do we like that? My brain is just floating right now. Okay, so Peter wakes up from a fever. Heart to heart with his parents. They go ice skating. Peter ice skating. Spider senses go out of whack. Peter crashes into shack or truck, some Xmas display. All right. Of course, he's fine. You know, he's got a healing factor kind of kicking in with the serum. It's like a Captain America with spider fucking venom. It's okay. Panel 4, Peter's parents. Parents exit a skating rink. Peter embarrassed. Again, we're going to emphasize on this. We're trying to line it up here. The Parkers go down an alley. They are accosted by a young and sickly version of the chameleon. No, not a sickly, a young version of the chameleon. Peter watches horror as his father shot, then mother is shot. Batman style tribute panel with young Peter over the corpses, over the fallen bodies of his parents. As the chameleon gets away. Boom. Pages 3 and 4. Now we got to actually write them. We've laid them out. It may hit this, it may not hit this, but the idea is now we got a little bit of a lineup. We kind of have a little chart of where we wanted to go. Right? So we'll read a little bit more. Let's get a little more ahead here. All right, Peter's fucking teacher's pissed at him because he's reading the goddamn magazine. Here, Peter, it's your miniature camera. It's your Uncle Ben's. Thank you, Aunt May. This gadget's gonna do some shit for us. He's gonna attach the mini camera. So again, we like the idea of him getting a utility belt. At some point, when we're gonna have Pete, there's gonna be a reason young Peter is gonna leave Empire City, go around the world like Superman, maybe go on like a pirate ship or some fucking, go fight some poachers. He's gonna become like a photographer like Vicky Vale and get like cool pictures from around the world for a portfolio. That'll bring him into Now Magazine. Let's get that into our notes. I'm getting ideas here. I'm getting some inspiration. Peter will leave Empire City, dropping out of high school and taking off for the world, a la Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins. He will, go up against pirates, safari, a cool Indiana Jones type shit in a montage. Got to get him back to Empire City. We need the Empire City adventure. But of course, we'll throw him out on the road. We could even have him fucking wash up on like the Savage Land. Anybody remembers the Gil Conway run with fucking Peter Parker taking Gwen Stacy going on a vacation to the Savage Land with J. Jonah Jameson. Fucking crazy storyline just comes out of nowhere. They do some King Kong shit where they take on an alien. The alien belonged to Craven. You know how much I love Craven the Hunter. It's my favorite Spider-Man villain. If we use Craven the Hunter here, then Peter could come washing up on the Savage Land and get mentored by Craven. You connect Craven to all the animal specimens that the Parkers were getting, or that Wakandan Black Widow. Craven could have provided the spider, or through Chameleon working for his father, Craven. Oh, we got some fucking Jedi shit going on here now. Craven and Chameleon, father and son. You are the son I should have had, Peter. Oh, I like that. You're the son I should have had, Peter. Craven falsely lets Peter believe he can replace his father, which eventually Uncle Ben will become like Alfred. Where do we even come down here? Oh, yeah, we said Peter will eventually come back to his parents' now abandoned lab and use their schematics to build a suit and shooters and costume. Uncle Ben will help Peter put together a utility belt, a la Alfred and Peter, Alfred and Bruce, setting up his arsenal, and Batman Begins. See, if you're getting the hint, I fucking love Batman Begins. Essentially, Batman Begins should be the blueprint for every single origin movie for every single comic book character. Christopher Nolan really essentially made a fucking James Bond movie. Okay, so Peter wakes up from a fever. His parents are sitting over him. His father is listening to his heartbeat with an instrument, stethoscope, while his mother brings over a hot mug of tea, steaming tea. Peter is sweaty, but appears fine, with color returned to his face. Right. So what are we saying here? You had us worried there, champ. You give them a real quick motherfucking father-son moment there. Had us all worried, champ. What was I? Wait, too long, Peter. Are you? Peter, close up. There we go. Close up on Peter, holding his hand over the wound, almost pushing away his father's, I'm going to get this wrong, stethoscope. Hey, fuck, they spelled it for me. Pushing away his father's stethoscope. Holding his hand over the wound, almost pushing away his father's stethoscope. I feel, I feel fine. He's got to be like, let's go ice skating. He wants some guilt because, of course, it's his idea to go ice skating. That's how they'll get killed. They're getting killed regardless, and that's what Uncle Ben will tell him at some point. Peter will blame himself. The chameleon's first fucking hit could be Peter's parents. They're connected. It's like poetry. They rhyme. Ready to go ice skating. Or let the parents do it. We don't want them reluctant. They should encourage it. I feel fine. I mean, are we jumping that fast into finding up the ice skate? It's like, but I don't want to waste fucking panels and pages of, well, we really shouldn't, Richard. You know, I feel I feel fine. Before his parents can examine him further, Peter has leaped out of bed in his sweaty pajamas so as to cut off his parents' concern. Boom! That's how we write, ladies and gentlemen, without having too much fucking filler. Ready to go ice skating. Boom. Sleeping out of the fucking bed. Ready to go ice skating. Now again, we could add some narrative dialogue here, and we probably will, but this is the idea is to give the artist his blueprint. And then again, we write a second script where we come back and we write over it. This is to lay out our script, lay out our art script for our artist in session. Okay, so we're ready to go ice skating. So Peter leaps out of bed. We move quick. The vulture's gonna steal some gems. Come on, they're expecting me, but I'll get away. Nobody's gonna fucking catch me. Spider-Man's a fucking pea shooter. Now, I always liked this when I was a kid because I grew up in Staten Island. Born in Brooklyn, raised in Staten Island. After making sure he's not observed, the vulture darts from his hiding place atop an abandoned silo in Staten Island. Just a few seconds from the heart of Manhattan. Now for the first part of my ingenious plan. So now, in this issue, Spider-Man is chilling on top of the apartment. He's looking for the vulture. He's hanging out. Vulture's kind of flying over. He's using the magnetic poles. The idea is, even though we're not using the vulture, we could use something from the storyline. Plus, I know this is a two-parter, so he fights the fucking Tinkerer. The Tinkerer who they brought back like 130 issues later or something like that. I always enjoyed that. He was the one that was kind of fucking with the Spider-Mobile. Everyone's baffled. No one's yet to imagine how I fly with these artificial wings. What's the luck? It's the vulture. I'll toss some messages, but they do the most good. The first one. So the vulture talks shit. He's throwing fucking messages into the different buildings. He's going to the radio stations, the TV stations. He's telling you, I'm going to steal the diamonds from you motherfuckers. You cannot transfer the diamonds. So this is a good old fashioned diamond heist. Now, something like this could be like a throwaway scene. What we're doing here is, he's leaping through the city. He's looking for pictures of the vulture. The vulture sees him coming. He's gonna fly around, does a loop-de-loop, kicks Spider-Man in the back of the fucking head, drops him in the water tower, then takes off. So Spider-Man's all fucked up because he don't got enough web fluid. So now he knows he's got to put web cartridges on his fucking web fucking utility belt. So he's got to swim all the way down, push up, bang, bang, boom. It's unbelievable how the Vulture managed to fly so swiftly. He goes, "Ow, I know. The pictures came out fine. Who do I sell them to? J. Jonah Jameson, the publisher of Now magazine, hates Spider-Man. I get a good kick out of making him pay good money for the pictures without knowing I'm a photographer. I originally designed my Spider-Man costume just to give me some color, so that I could make money as an entertainer. But if I'm really going to be a secret adventurer, I've got to make some changes. I always kind of like this line. They always use that word adventurer. Not a superhero, adventurer. I've got to make some changes. First, I'll add an extra web fluid cartridge. So I always have enough spider webbing on hand. I'll fashion the small containers of my belt. So again, we have the utility belt. It's a staple. They kind of used to go on and off with it. Sometimes he had it, sometimes he didn't, but I always loved that he did. And again, if we're going to Batman up, I always said for this particular graphic novel, we're going with the black costume. Then when I get paid for my pictures, I'll buy a special miniature camera to secretly attach to the belt buckle, a GoPro. So again, the GoPro, the photography, we got all that already. All that's in our notes. The whole contraption fits under my shirt. We know he's going to be a photographer. We're going to change him up to be like a cool Vicky Vale photographer. We're even going to give him, when he leaves high school, he's going to throw a basketball. He's in a mall like Flash Thompson or something. Just a quick little fuck with your bully moment. And he sneaks out of school. Uncle Ben doesn't stand in his way. He gets his trust fund. He takes his cash and just kind of boats out. He takes off. Or he doesn't get the trust fund until he graduates high school. So he comes back. So Ben gets the money. I want a really cool Alfred Bruce relationship with Uncle Ben and Peter. Because again, this is all alternate universe Spider-Man. Contraption fits under my shirt. I know the power of the Vulture's flight. He's going to fuck with the magnetic octopus. Are doubling every second. That was tougher than expected. Right now, I'm gonna get some shut eye. What's that? You got some exclusive pictures of the vulture you want to sell? Don't waste time talking. Get over here right away. Joe, have them stop the presses. Sorry, Miss Jameson, cannot see anybody. Okay, so Jameson, Peter, he's paying him good money. You get any more great pictures? Remember to give me first crack at them. We're always on the market for sensational photos. Come on, Peter. We're all going to watch them move the diamonds to the Park Avenue Jewelry Exchange. We're hoping to get a glimpse of the vulture. So the vulture put together this grand spectacle. All the kids are leaving school. Peter, of course, has to get out of there. He's got to pretend Flash is going to give him some shit. Look, gang, little Petey's chickening out. Guess the excitement is too much for his delicate little self. Minutes later, the valuable jewelry shipment starts its cross-town convoy. I always kind of like this because when they show these, I used to play like the Pulp Fiction music, you know, the fucking shotguns. They're all looking around. That's kind of cool. You know, it's 60s art. It's trippy. It's cool. You know, you got to play good music when you're writing. I recommend music without words. It kind of fucks you when you're writing. 'Cause you're listening to lyrics too much. But if you listen to like that lo-fi shit that's gotten big, or you just put on some old school like fucking classical or jazz, it makes it a lot of fun when you're writing and you're flipping through art and comics to kind of get your own ideas to write. We got the fucking vulture here jacking the fucking diamonds miles away before they lift the manhole cover. He's whipping through the tunnels. He's coming out of the subway. I don't think this is the one. I remember there's an issue when Spider-Man and the Vulture fight inside of like the Daily Bugle through the newspaper fucking presses, which I always thought was pretty cool. Peter gets in the costume, leaps on up. He's got his magnetic fucking thing there. He's fucking with them. Vulture's flying by. He's too dangerous. Gotta get rid of him for good. First, I'll execute a fast loop de loop, which will put me behind him. Holy smoke, way to go. It couldn't have flown away so fast. I feel the vibrations in the air behind me. The vulture must have doubled behind me somehow. Forewarned by his fabulous spider's sense, Spider-Man wheels about in time to avoid the full impact of the vulture's swooping dive, but one powerful wing sends the colorfully clad figure toppling from the edge of the roof. No, you don't. This time I'm ready for you. How he hit my foot with that accursed web of his. Oh, this is what I like. He gets Vulture, grabs onto his foot, just fucking drags his ass up, says, "Look, I'm hitting you with the magnets." They start free falling. You're beaten. I've got you. What can I do? You can't stay aloft. You'll kill us both. Speak for yourself, mister. The sky is my element as much as it's yours. Just watch. I can always save myself by shooting my web at a nearby building like this. As for the vulture, he'll manage to break his fall by spiraling down, but he's going to have a tough time ever using those wings again. Here comes the police helicopter. They must have sighted us when we were battling. This is my chance to get some exclusive pics of the capture of the vulture. Take it down, Charlie. We're right. This is the vulture. Can't get up. Wind knocked out of me. What do I do? This doesn't take the cake. Whoever thought the vulture be able so nice to be captured? What happened, fella? Did you have a tailspin? Please, no jokes. He gets the pictures. He pays the rent. He suspected that he had discovered a way to harness magnetic power. That's why my gadget made him fall. It's an anti-magnetic inverter, and it worked. Tell me, Parker, you magician, how does a teenager like you manage to get pictures that our best staff photogs would give their eye teeth for? Remember our deal, Mr. Jameson. That's my secret, if you don't want the pics. All right, so Jameson pays him. Aunt May, I paid the rent for a full year. Tomorrow I'm buying you the best kitchen appliances you ever drooled over. Well, you know, rent was cheap back then. I'll make your Uncle Ben so proud. There you go. And the vulture's sitting there in jail. In a lonely cell, the vulture has a slightly different opinion of our hero. I wouldn't be here if not for that accursed Spider-Man. But sooner or later, I'll get free, and I'll develop a flying power that he cannot overcome. And then, Spider-Man, it'll be my turn to gloat. So this is a two-parter. Spider-Man takes on the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer, the Tinkerer. Everybody loves a bargain, but sometimes it can be dangerous to accept a bargain which is too good to be true, especially if the bargain is being offered by someone like the Tinkerer. But wait! Let's see how it all began, and how it took Spider-Man to finish it. Alright, Spider-Man's in class. So, we're halfway through this comic. We're halfway through our page. Ready to go ice skating. Now, again, we could add more narration later. We want to lay out the scene. Okay, so I can fill the center, or our own steampunk version of a city center ice skating rink, surrounded by Christmas vendors and dancers and fellow ice skaters. Close up of Peter getting away from his folks as he picks up speed. Hmm. And again, you don't need. You can go more panels if you need more panels. There should be some more flashback here. He's got to be telling some part of the story. I don't just like unless the action is so good, I can't stand just having one line in a fucking comic book scene. But again, we don't like doing filler. Page 3, Peter breaks from a fever. His parents are sitting over him. His father is listening to his heartbeat with an instrument. I mean, we don't necessarily need the crazy cheeseball dialogue. I like narrative. I write in a novel style, so the idea should be you should see the art, but the blocks are mostly exposition and story. His father is listening to his heartbeat with an instrument. His mother brings over a hot mug of tea. Peter is sweaty but appears fine with color returned to his face. So worried champ, how long was I? Too long, Peter. How are you? I'm fine. Hmm. I mean, do we need any narration there? Or the narration's all right there. Close up on Peter holding his hand over the wound, almost pushing away his father's stethoscope. I feel I feel fine. Before his parents can examine it further, Peter has leaped out of bed in sweaty pajamas so as to cut off his parents' concern, ready to go ice skating. All right, so all right. I mean, fuck, I like it. I fucking like it. Rockefeller Center, on stream big version of a city center ice skating rink, surrounded by Christmas vendors and dances, fellow ice skaters. Peter's going to narrate. Okay, good. Now I have some time for some narration. Was their first night out. It was their first night out in a year. Eh, it was their first night out in a season. It was their first night out in a month. Everything was always about the secret serum. The one that was now coursing through my veins, that was apparently one that was now the one that was now apparently coursing through my veins, albeit laced with a radioactive spiderman. It was their first night out in months. Everything was always about the secret serum, the one that was now apparently coursing through my veins, albeit laced with a radioactive spider venom. But I wasn't about to let that spoil our first night out. So, well, yeah, all right. Because the first night out in months, everything was always about the secret serum, the one that was now apparently coursing through my veins, albeit laced with a radioactive spider venom. But I wasn't about to let that spoil our first night out. Or spoil the evening. Spoil the evening. Boom! There you go. Okay. Close up of Peter getting away from his folks as he picks up speed. Then something happened. All right. In the comic book in 1962, Peter gets bit, then he leaves the science experiment, then he's walking across the street, leaps out of the way of the car, starts crawling up the building. So what do we got here? First time should just be an accident, right? His fucking agility kicks in. Maybe it's like if you're suddenly strong and you could defy gravity and you're leaping around, his instinct should kind of just should be out of whack. We don't want him immediately knowing what the fuck he's doing. Like the same way he jumped out of the way of a moving car. Now where's our moving car here? Why is he leaping? What makes him leap? These are the questions we have to get from panel 5 and 6 here. is close up of Peter getting away from his folks as he picks up speed. They look on proudly. They look on proudly, yeah. Kind of like Dark Knight Returns, Bruce Wayne running in the field before he falls down before he falls down the Batcave. Close up of Peter getting away from his folks as he picks up speed. They look on proudly. So we need narration here. Narration here. Not letting that spoil the evening. Okay, so he makes him go out. He says, "Don't worry about me. I'm fine. Don't worry about this fucking spider venom. Let's go out. I'm up. I'm ready. I'm not wasting any fucking time." Because the idea is, if he has too much time with his parents and they can get him to the lab, they can experiment with him, his blood, figure out what's wrong with him. They could kind of be there, but we need to take them away. We got to orphan this son of a bitch, which is part of his characterization. So that's why we want it immediately. His powers are out of whack, but he heals from the bite. The bite doesn't kill him. While the parents are worried that it's going to kill him, it doesn't kill him. The bite should have killed me. That's what I kept hearing my parents talking about. The bite should have killed me. That's what I kept hearing my parents talking about when they thought I was out of earshot. The bite should have killed me. That's what I kept hearing my parents talking about when they thought I was out of earshot. At some point, nothing was out of range. The bite should have killed me. That's what I kept hearing my parents talking about when they thought I was out of earshot. But at some point, nothing was out of range, and he's picking up speed, and they're looking on proudly. Good, boom, next. Let's add one more panel. Don't have him crash yet. Close up on Peter, proudly feeling his senses kicking in, giving him almost a turbo boost of speed. This could be even like an 8-panel page. He can crash in the last panel. It's panel 7 to panel 8. Close up on Peter, proudly feeling his senses kicking in, giving almost a turbo boost of speed as he easily slides past other skaters, almost arrogantly taking, almost arrogantly pushing them over as he blazes by. Give a little boost. Close up on Peter as his abilities get out of whack and he starts to slip and awkwardly lose control on the ice. Boom! Peter crashes into a shack or truck or some Xmas display. SFX of the crashing. So again, exposition all here. 3 more panels of exposition here. So we can tell some story. Peter can explain his powers kicking in. When you're ready, come and get it. Na 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 na. Close up on Peter, proudly feeling his senses kicking in, giving almost a turbo boost of speed as he easily slides past other skaters, almost arrogantly pushing them over as he blazes by. Nothing was out of range. I felt the moves coming to me. I felt the moves coming to me. A mere second before they would happen. I felt the moves coming to me a mere second before they would happen. Like staying one step ahead of theory or equation. Like staying one step ahead of a theory or equation. I felt the moves coming to me a mere second before they would happen. Like staying one step ahead of a theory or equation. I felt strong. I felt fast. I felt. Oop, close up on Peter as his pillars get out of whack, and he starts to slip and awkwardly lose control on the ice. I felt. I don't think you need lines there because it's more funny. Close up on Peter as his, and he starts to slip and comically, so you can have the artist have fun with it. Comically and awkwardly, like you're kind of stupid and silly. Ryan Reynolds and like fucking Just Friends. Peter crashes into a shack or truck or some Xmas display. Shack. Xmas display. Display. Lights and decorations all come in. So now what I'll tell Emil here, and he'll get it too because he plays around. These 8 panels, like this last panel number 8, will be bigger to show off the crash, whereas Peter's slipping around people and close up on his face will be smaller. So again, he'll use 8 panels for the page, and that'll be pretty cool. I don't think we'll have any lines for 7 or 8 because it's just crashing. I felt strong. I felt fast. I felt bang. Boom, crash. But we can end it here again. We need one more heartfelt moment. I remember my parents letting me be embarrassed. My father telling me the story of how he slipped. How he slipped. How he slipped on what? How he slipped. I remember my parents not letting me. I remember my parents not letting me be embarrassed. My father telling me the story of how he slipped on a similar ice patch the day he asked out my mother. Oh, nice, cute. I remember my parents not letting me be embarrassed, and my father telling me the story of how he slipped on a similar ice patch on the day he asked out my mother. Oh, it's poetry. It characterizes the scene. It shows, yet again, we don't need to show in panels Peter's dad saying, hey, you know what? I slipped on my ass too, son. It's cute. It's heartfelt because we're literally about to kill his fucking parents. We need that heartfelt moment so that he has something to hold on to. It drives the revenge narrative. If his parents were cold, and it doesn't work because then it's the vengeance angle doesn't work. We want to loop Chameleon and Spider-Man together. He's a thug. He's just trying to get the formula out of him. Things get out of hand. He's a hothead and jumps the gun and kills him. I'm trying to think here. Peter can almost he shoots the parents and then he's trying to search through Richard's body for the formula. You know, always keep the formula on him. What if like The formula. The formula. Where does the formula go? They should have the fucking formula. We should show the formula. Where does he put it? Does he put it on a chain on Peter's neck? Is he that fucking psycho? Would he put the formula around his kid's neck? Is that the best hiding place? You know, it'd be kind of cool if Richard attacks the chameleon, like Richard Parker attacks the chameleon, knocks the formula out of his fucking hand, right? Down a sewer. So that the formula doesn't get to Peter or the chameleon, but it's left open for someone else to possibly discover should they get to the fucking sewer. Oh, I like that. See, this is how we write. This is how we write, motherfuckers. This is how we write. Beautiful fucking comic books. All right, let's get through the rest of this fucking chapter because we know what we want to do here. All right, Peter meets the fucking Tinkerer. Thank you, boy. Now, Professor Cobwell, we're gonna use him. Nah, fuck, we're not using Professor Cobwell. Most famous electronics expert in town. I'd be delighted to. Now, Cobwell says, I want you to pick up this radio for me. Flash and shit's all over him. Teacher's pet is going to help the nice little doctor with some experiments this weekend, huh? Well, this other dumbhead's waste time having dates and living it up. Well, why are you being a dick, Flash? Knock it off, Flash. You suck my asshole. Dr. Cobwell's a brilliant man. I wear a tie to school. Besides, I feel almost undressed without it. Okay, he loves his Spider-Man outfit. The Tinkerer shop. The Tinkerer repair shop. The Tinker, this is kind of like a throwaway story. This is just Stan Lee just writing some fucking weird shit. The Tinker looks kind of cool. If you're doing so, if you throw him in as a fucking Easter egg, but I got nothing to do with him right now. It's basically essentially the Tinker is just working with a bunch of fucking aliens who are taking the radios and they're just kind of listening in on everybody. I heard the Tinker's prices are ridiculously cheap, so he sells radio repairs for cheap. This way, every cheap asshole in the fucking neighborhood comes and sees him. But of course, his Spider-Man senses are kicking in. He knows that there's bugs in the fucking thing. Even though Professor Cobwell's supposed to be working for him, he just kind of blows out. The Spider-Man goes downstairs. The aliens see him. They shoot him with the fucking rays. They're just listening on everybody. You know, that's what it's all about. They're enemy aliens from another planet using some sort of eerie spy devices to which they place in our radios in order to learn our military and science. Now, if we're doing a throwaway scene in the end, like a little Easter egg, like a post-credit scene in the end, we can have, Dr. Octopussy. Like he can be off screen, watching a bunch of screens, a la the aliens and the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer could be a throwaway at the end of the story or one of the chameleon disguises. We'll get to that. Remember, we got a 100-page story we're trying to write here. Let's get back up here. We'll get to the end of that story in a second there. Yes, not my mother. Okay, so Peter and his parents leave the ice skating rink as they walking home through the streets of Empire City. Parkers go down an alley where we see a cloaked, thin figure following in the shadows. Close up on Peter. This is Spider Sense starts to go off. Peter's parents turn, see the chameleon, who is demanding formula from them. Richard takes it out. He then knocks it away. It will and gets shot in the process. So this might end up going more than one page, which is fine too. That's fine too. Peter and his parents leave the ice cream because they're walking over the streets of Empire City. We don't need two panels of that, do we? Let's get to the end of this chapter here. Alien shooting at Peter. See what I mean? He's jumping up on the fucking ceiling. Then inverted mechanism, they throw shit at him. The aliens jump him, beat the shit out of him. Then he shoots him with the fucking mega ray here. We have a weapon the Tinker has never prepared. This will stop Spider-Man. Then they put him in like some airtight chamber. The Resisto glass prison. So again, remember it's the 60s. It gets a little silly, but we're going to take the silly. It's a good thing my spiderweb launcher is loaded and ready for action. Cartridges of web fluid, adjustable spray nozzle, palm release button, safety catch on. Can't afford to miss. Got to line it up perfectly with the hole. Proper control. The little air holes. He shoots it through. Shoots the fucking aliens. Gets through. Beats the living shit out of these ugly green fucking aliens. Don't abandon them. They fight. Everything lights up. He gets out. He swings out. He's blamed for it all. Safe at last. Press the button, which will destroy all of our spy devices by remote control. It is done. We can never again return to Earth. They will be on their guard from this day on. A strange spacecraft begins to streak away from Earth. Now, again, you can always come back to this. We have a fantasy world. This is our own alternative universe here. Back at the laboratory of Dr. Cobwell, I've re examined the radio and it's perfectly normal now. No devices, no impulses, nothing. My boy, I just saw the most startling sight. As I was returning from my lecture in my car, I glanced skyward. You could have sworn I saw a spaceship of some sort, fading into the atmosphere. Really, what did it look like? Oh, well, it was sort of. Oh, what am I saying? I must have imagined it. Nothing would believe me anyway. I have no proof. People will think I'm a typical absent minded professor. Forget it, Peter. Let's get back to work. Sure, and he's got the mask of the Tinkerer. So again, this could be a little throwaway with the chameleon. We take every piece of art that we look at and we try to transfer it into our storyline. I know how the doc feels. If not for this mask, I yanked off the Tinker at the last minute. I might not believe it myself, but I'd better never mention this to anyone. It would be too hard to explain how Peter Parker knows so much about Spider-Man's adventures. Next issue, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We used Amazing Spider-Man number 2 to write page 3. We're going to use Amazing Spider-Man number 3 as our inspiration to write page 4. Ideas that we get by reading old Spider-Man comic books. So you see how it works? It's like you read the old stuff, you play around with it. Sometimes you read the lines out loud, you pretend you're the fucking character, and it gives you ideas. That's what we do. The idea of doing it in the YouTube setting is so you feel less crazy, because if you're doing it as a lesson and talking out loud, you don't feel weird about just talking out loud when your neighbors are walking by going, why is this motherfucker talking like Dr. Octopus? Amazing Spider-Man number 3 is when Spider-Man arrogantly believes he's kicking too much ass and then Dr. Octopus slaps the shit out of him. Now, I don't want Dr. Octopus in our first story. He's my Dr. O. I'm probably going to call him Dr. Octopussy because it's just more funny that way. And he could be handsome, like a cool Bond villain. But again, he's the AracKnight Returns. He, of course, will be the sequel. Here we got the Chameleon, and more than likely, I'm definitely thinking we're going to be using Craven here because that's the AracKnight to me. I want my Henry Ducard Craven. I fucking love Craven. He's my favorite Spider-Man villain. He's getting in here. I'll figure it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I'm working it in. So again, the Chameleon is going to kill Spider-Man's parents right now. And we're going to use this issue to help us get through this page. Sound good? Sound good. It's all right? It's all right. All right, so we've laid out page 4. I need to get some water. Ugh. All right. All right. Peter and his parents leave the ice skating as they're walking over the streets of Empire City. Okay, so they go down an alley. All right, so that could be one combined panel. You don't need that for two fucking panels. Peter and his parents leave the ice skating rink. Okay, so walking onto the streets of Empire City, the Parkers go down an alley. We see a cloaked, thin figure following in the shadows. We know we're going to end with Batman. Okay. Parkers go down an alley where we see a cloaked, thin figure following in the shadows. Close up on Peter, the spider sense starts to go off. Peter's parents turn, see the chameleon who's demanding the formula from them. All right, so the father was telling Peter the story of how he met his mother. So we're getting a heartfelt moment. Hmm. Hmm. So what do we got here? Why are they walking? They have money, right? No, they wanted to stop at the lab. Shouldn't have been brave. I shouldn't have been brave that night. I told them I was fine, but I should have said that I wanted to go straight home. This way, we may not have stopped back at the lab. Things may have been different. I should have been brave that night. I told them I was fine, but I should have said that I wanted to go straight home. This way, we might not have stopped back at the lab. Things might have been different. Things may have been different. Close up on Peter as his spidey sense is about to go off. Even with the senses kicking in for the first time, there was nothing I could do. Powers were useless. So essentially, he's like almost telling this to Craven while he's in the Savage Land. Or maybe he's keeping a journal. The idea this is all flashback. Even with the senses kicking in for the first time, there was nothing I could do. My powers were useless. Peter's parents turned to see the chameleon. See a younger version of the chameleon. Dmitri. Dmitri Kravenov, who is skinny, clad in a trench. Peter's parents turn to see a younger version of the chameleon, Dmitri Kravenov, who was skinny, clad in a trench-coated outfit that holds his various his various disguise Gadgets. Or do we want him to have that shit yet? He doesn't have that shit yet. Or he has a more primitive version of it. Peter's parents turn and see a younger version of the chameleon, Dmitry Kravinov, who is skinny, clad in a trench-coated outfit, holds his various disguise gadgets. Nah, we should know it's the chameleon right out of the bat. Dmitry Kravinov, who is hidden in the shadows, almost disguised as darkness. Medium. Hello, hello, Parkers. Hello, hello, Dr. Parker. Hello, hello, Dr. Parker. I understand you've made a breakthrough. Hello, hello, Dr. Parker. I understand you've made a breakthrough. Peter's parents turn and see a younger version of the chameleon, Dmitry Kravinov, who is hidden in the shadows, almost disguised as darkness. Hello, hello, Dr. Parker. I understand you've made a breakthrough. Sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. Close up on the gun protruding from the chameleon shadow. Close up on the gun protruding from the chameleon shadow. Formula, Dr. Parker, for your life. Make it a merry, all parties involved. The formula, Dr. Parker, for your life. Make it a merry for all parties involved. Yeah, I don't mind doing the random criminal kills the Parkers. We're connected here. The chameleon, the formula, Dr. Parker, for your life. Make it a merry for all parties involved. Slip it over. So why does he kill him? Why does he kill him? Why does he kill him? Does he just take the fucking formula? I mean, Dr. Parker's not going to let his wife and kid die. The formula, Dr. Parker, or your life. Make it a merry for all parties involved. We see close up of Richard taking a Not a disc. What is he? A pen? What do you have in a cigar? We see a close up of Richard taking a cigar out of his jacket pocket. Taking a cigar case. Uh, taking a cigar case. Yeah, a case holding one cigar. Taking a single cigar case out of his jacket pocket. Close up on the hand of Richard as he purposely close up on the hand of Richard as he purposely fumbles the formula, purposely fumbles the case as he hands it to the chameleon. Close up on the hand of Richard as he purposely fumbles the case as he hands it to the chameleon. And he's gonna yell, Mary, take Peter and run. Mary, take Peter, run now. We see a close up of Richard taking a single cigar case out of his jacket pocket. Formula. The formula, Dr. Parker, or your life. Make it a merry for all parties involved. The formula isn't perfected. The formula isn't perfected yet. I don't bloody well care. You had your orders. I have mine. We see a close-up of Richard taking a single cigar case out of his jacket pocket. The formula isn't perfected yet. I don't bloody well care. You had your orders. I have mine. Close up on the hand of Richard as he purposely fumbles the case as he hands it to the kid. So Richard's taking it out. The formula that he has so far. He's gonna give it to the chameleon, but he's gonna fucking slip it out of his hands so Richard and Mary, because he knows the chameleon's gonna fucking kill him. They're spies. They're fucked up people. Close up on the hand of Richard as he purposely fumbles the case as he hands the chameleon. Richard, take Peter and run now. Is that enough for a whole page? No, we probably add a couple more panels there. Because he doesn't just have the alleyway. Close up on Peter's spider sense. That's a small panel. 3, that's a nice panel. He's standing there. Formula 5. Richard pulling out. It's a tiny panel. 6. Take Peter and run now. Because you can have because 5 can be more splash. So let's add one more panel here. Let's add one more panel on this page. And we're going to do another page here. Fuck it. We're going to do 3 pages today. So panel 7, we see Richard and the chameleon wrestle on the ground as Richard is able to push the cigar case holding the secret formula into a sewer grate where the case falls to its unknown fate. Boom. I like the way it ended the page like that. And then page 5. We'll add some. Okay, okay, so panel 7. So you have shorter panels there, so you can end it nice, pushing it down the, pushing it down the drainage there. So we see that's it for the formula. That thing's fucking gone. So Peter can defend his father here. Never questioned my father's motives. He must have knew. I never questioned my father's motives. He must have knew the assassin would have killed us all, regardless. I never questioned my father's motives. He must have known. He must have knew the assassin would have killed us all regardless. He must have knew. He must have known. Must have known the assassin would have killed us all regardless. Okay, so we're gonna do another page here. As I said, by the end of this class, we're killing his fucking parents. So I need. Okay, so Dad's got to get shot. Mom's got to get shot. Chameleon's got to get away. And Peter, we have to have the Bruce Wayne fucking moment with Peter and his parents. So panel 1, we have to eventually put put some kind. Oh no, we did put dialogue in there. So page 5. All right, so we broke the rules here today. We went all the way to page 5. That's how you want to do it. You want to keep writing. You feeling it? You keep fucking writing it. In the ensuing struggle, Chameleon fires off a round directly into Richard's chest. S effects of a gunshot and grunt and death grunt. Chameleon then rolls over and blasts at Mary, who's attempting to escape with Peter. Mary collapses with Peter as the chameleon stalks over to kill Peter. Peter can activate the chameleon's like disguise gas. They always have that disguise gas where he would disguise gas, which helps him mold his face disguises. Coughing and gagging on the gas. The chameleon runs off, leaving Peter to mourn his parents. So again, we get the Bruce Wayne shot. Bruce Wayne shot of Peter Parker over the dead bodies of his parents. Boom. So I think we'll do is we'll save this page for the next class as we write the dialogue. And that is where we will end class. But then we have to go over this. So maybe we'll get the dialogue for page 5 while we go through the Dr. Octopus issue. Or should we just say, should we just call it a class? Let's just blow through the Dr. Octopus thing real quick because I've read this comic book a million times. I love this comic book. So we'll get to anything good and we'll use it as part of our method here. Where Spider shoots the spider signal. Not sure if we're going to use that in our script. It'd be cool. Spider-Man jumps a bunch of people, fucks them all up, leaves them all up for the cops to take them away. This issue kind of always annoying because it's when Stan Lee would just get very repetitive. But again, he's driving the story home, and he always used good vocabulary like frivolous. Little does Spider-Man know his frivolous wish is about to come true. Doctor Octopus, of course, we've decided we've gone over this is going to be our fucking Doctor Octopussy in the end, where he's moving all his shit around. He has made nuclear fission his master. But alas, the warning's given too late. Everything blows up. We all know about this. His x-rays show an uncertain amount of brain damage. I'm afraid his mind has been permanently damaged. We can't remove those artificial limbs of him yet. The radiation has caused them to adhere to his body in some strange way. What am I doing here? Let me up. I must return to my work. No! You're ill! You must stay in bed. You need the rest. They're jealous of me. They want to keep me from my work. But I'll show them. I'm stronger than any of them. The windows are barred. They're trying to make me a prisoner. The fools! No one can hold Dr. Octopus against his will. No one. So he just straight up started calling himself Dr. Octopus. He breaks through the bars. He's mentally linked. He beats the shit out of everybody in there. Peter's like, I got this. I'm the fucking man. I wish things were going to be hard. I can do almost anything. I want some competition. I'm going to fuck people up. Dr. Octopus grabs him, starts throwing fucking people around. Spider-Man busts in. Spider-Man jumps around, he grabs him, and then Dr. Octopus in their first ever matchup smacks the shit out of him. I always like this. You dared to mock me before. Why aren't you mocking me now? Where are your brave words and taunts now, Spider-Man? You prick, you fool, you washed up. It was his Clubber Lang in Rocky 3 beating the shit out of Spider-Man. Spider-Man says, I can't do this anymore. I'm not the guy. He breaks into the atomic research facility. He fucks everybody up. He hides. He sneaks around. He throws everybody out. He's taking over. He's the man. He's going to blow shit up. Coming after him. He's flipping out. Oh, it's okay. So we got the government part thing again. Now, again, we said at the end of this story, Dr. Octopus is going to be holding Spectre, or his Spectre, the Sinister Six, is going to be holding Empire City hostage. We have to figure out the amount of money or whatever, or missile plant, something. Whatever he wants, he's ransoming that he will sabotage the Mars colony if he doesn't get what he wants. That is the end of our story there. We've never been up against anything like the 4 billion scientists, superhuman powers, mad rampage. If we can't stop him, then we must see the innocent people aren't injured. Okay, we get to all this. Spider-Man thinks he's a failure. He can't get the pictures with J. Jonah. They're all making fun of him. He's in his own world. Human Torch comes in. That's when he was talking to the assembly. He is inspiring Peter. It's the good spot. He goes, look. Now, he's there hanging out because he can't. Pete, did you hear the big news? The governor's asked the Fantastic Four to try and capture Dr. Octopus. They're busy with another case, but they sent the Human Torch to see what he can do. He's speaking to our assembly today. Big deal. Okay, I was asking you to tackle Dr. Octopus, but I've used my flame so much recently, I have to wait a few days for it to get strong again. While I'm waiting, your principal asked me to address you. If only I had his power, his confidence. But that's easy when you've never been beaten. Now for a little demonstration. I can't apply my total flame, but here's some fiery figures for you. This is what usually happens when the thing helps me with my homework. I get results like this. Now for a parting thought, stick to your schoolwork and do your best in your studies. Don't be discouraged if someone seems tough. The important thing is never give up. That's it. Don't be a shithead. Never give up. It's like he's talking to me. Ability alone is enough. It's one lesson I learned from my partnership with the Fantastic Four. Even the Fantastic Four have had defeats, but we always come back. My motto is never say die. Golly gee, he's fucking right. Thanks for the speech. Give me an autograph. He gets the Spider-Man outfit out. He slingshots himself into battle. The army's going in to get Dr. Octopus. The Fantastic Four's going in to get Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus is fucking shit up. He's throwing shit at Spider-Man. He's shooting fucking balls and meteorites and fucking magnets at him. He's coming for him. He's gonna fuck him up. But Spider-Man says, I'm gonna put some formula together. I'm gonna fucking make some bolo fucking ties. I'm gonna throw them at you. You're not gonna be able to get me. You're gonna fuse your fucking arms together. I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. I'm gonna crack your fucking head open, you stupid fucking prick. The Alfred Molina fucking Broadway asshole snaps him up, leaves him there for the cops to take. He gets the pictures. I don't know if he got the pictures. No, he didn't get the pictures. Good news, Torch. Your temperature is down. Your virus is gone. The flame is working at full strength. Flame on! Relax, Torch. Dr. Octopus has been beaten. Thanks to you, the octopus is under wraps. I owe you an additional thanks because it's enough for you. Spider-Man might have been finished too. Flaming fireballs. I don't get it. What did I do? So the torch flies around. Flash Thompson shits on Spider-Man. Spider-Man gives him a little, all right, fuck face. I'm going to crack you in the mouth one day. But he didn't deliver any photos. They said he didn't get pictures of this one. We get the pin-up. When they got the spider's web. I used to always read these because I would write to this all the fucking time. But they never published any of my letters. Pricks. But here is where you'd read about all the upcoming other stories they have in their other universes. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We went through Amazing Spider-Man 3. Our next class, we'll look through Amazing Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 5, and we'll write pages 5 and 6. We laid out page 5 already. Always remember, brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. And we are going to write the dialogue for this next time. Now we've laid the page out. We're going to use 2 pages to kill Peter's parents. Let me see when that number goes up. It's my favorite. That's it. Page 5 and 6 tomorrow, 2 pages at a time. We already laid out 5, so we're halfway there. We're done. We're halfway done. Because after we kill the parents, which we extended into another page, now we have to get Peter through his awkward high school years, which we're going to do quick. The bully's going to throw some shit at him while he's working on his journal, being all fucking like an emo kid in the corner. He's going to take the football and throw it back at the fucking kid and nearly kill him, and he's going to fuck up his friends. By the time security gets there, Spider-Man will have taken off. Peter's taken off. He'll be sitting there telling Uncle Ben like he's just not into school. He's not into anybody. He's just depressed. He knows some assassin killed his parents and he might be living on borrowed time. So Uncle Ben's gonna say, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Well, I just want to leave. I just want to kind of take off and go around the world, get out of Empire City for a while. Everywhere I look, it reminds me of them." So he wants to leave Empire City. So he's gonna go around the world, be a photographer. Build a little portfolio, find his way. Of course, on this adventure around the world, some fucked up shit will happen. Maybe a shipwreck. Maybe he takes on some pirates. And he gets blown up, and then he washes along the shore of the savage land. And that's where he will meet Craven. Craven will become his mentor. Oh, let's write all this shit down. Peter will have an incident with a bully and nearly cripple him, which makes him drop out of school, decide to leave Empire City to find himself. He takes up photography and travels the world where we see him get into some adventures for coming afoul of pirates. He could be with like a treasure salvage group. Like he is taking pictures with a treasure salvage group, and they are attacked by pirates. Peter saves the day, or maybe he doesn't, and the pirate ship explodes, and everyone is taken out. Peter survives and washes up. So there's a lot of Superman shit here with Peter. Washes up along the shores of the savage land where he is resuscitated Right? Resuscitated by Sergei Kravenov, aka Craven the Hunter. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, class dismissed. Peace, love, and war, and all that shit in between.